Hi, I'm back. My name is Jovanay Carter, and I'm going to walk you through how to practice a technical interview on the depth difference. So let's go ahead and get started. So here you are on your dashboard. Once you've logged in, you'll be directed here to the dashboard. I'm assuming that software engineering is a basic role type if you're practicing a technical coding interview. So I'm going to walk you through that. But we're going to get started by staying in our software engineering track and clicking into technical. So you can select the questions that you're interested in. It auto selects some questions for you, one coding question, one software, and then another coding. So I'm actually going to just practice one question. You can practice as many as you would like. I'm going to just practice one. Let's do this question. Reverse a string in place. So let's go ahead and do that question. Okay, so that's the question I have. It says the easy coding question. Easy is in relative to all the other questions. So that's just to give you a level of where you are. So let's go ahead and start the session. First, you're going to want to turn on the whiteboard so that you can actually type your code. And then you remember you have the interviewer as a whole at your disposal. So you can ask questions and communicate with it in order to get you where you need to be. The goal is that you do ask questions and you don't just start automatically coding. So just thinking through my answer for this, reversing a string in place, I'm going to talk to the system. So just to get started, I know that a string can be any length and it may need to be reversed in place in order to save memory. I know there's a couple ways to do this, especially in Python, you can use a Python function in order to reverse the string. Am I going down the right track?
Yes, you're on the right track. Remember, the goal is to reverse it in place, so focus on manipulating the string without using additional memory.
Okay, so now in order to get started, what I might do is write some example code. So I might say message equals I am awesome. So I'm just setting up a couple variables. And now maybe I'll say, I know that in general, some pseudocode, I know that I'm going to have potentially a for loop that loops through this and reverses these two items until it gets to the middle item. So another way I can do this is using like a slicing technique, which is when you basically start at one index and end at another index and you have those swap in a certain way. So let me ask if I should use either one of these processes. So I know that you can either use a for loop and reverse the string starting at the first index and the last index and continue to reverse that way. Or I can potentially use a slicer technique in order to do something similar. Do you have a recommendation of which technique I should use?
Using a for loop to swap characters from the start and end towards the center is a good in-place approach. Can you try implementing that method?
Okay, copy this over here. I'm actually going to change these to message because our string is named message. Okay. So I actually tried a different way of just joining the reverse version of the string with a for loop. And then I returned that reverse. And it says your current approach still creates a new string. So I'm still using the wrong thing. It's saying consider a two-pointer technique and telling me exactly the technique that I could try. So the idea here is that it gives you hints so you can try different things. I'm actually going to go ahead and finish. Okay. And that's how I performed. So I got a 26 and I'm going to expand everything. It shows you the different types of things that was in consideration, including clear and understandable pseudocode, efficiency and runtime, articulating your coding approach, handling errors, and data structure, usage, and analytical skills. So all these things, it tells you exactly what you can practice on, what you can think about. Some things I didn't even address, like I didn't even address runtime and complexity, but it would have liked me to say using this two-pointer technique, the runtime complexity remains linear. Things like that. Thank you guys for listening to this segment. I hope you have fun practicing your technical interviews. I've used it as a peer programmer before. If you know exactly the question you want to practice, you can go ahead and go and custom question, practice that question. I've also used it for random question practice. So whatever suits your boat. I look forward to hearing your stories and your successes. I'll see you in the next